Rents are finally falling, so why does your landlord still own 3 houses and a boat? After 30 consecutive months of decline, the national median asking rent just hit a 4-year low. And if that doesn't make you sit up straight, maybe the number $1,667 that's the new national median asking rent for 0 to 2 bedroom properties, down 1.7% from last year and 5.1% from the peak we saw back in 2022. Now, before you pop the champagne, just know that rents are still 14.2% higher than they were before the pandemic. So the landlord is still winning, just slightly less aggressively. The reason we got here is actually a classic case of supply catching up to greed. Developers saw sky-high rents during the pandemic boom and said, let's build everything, everywhere, all at once. And now all those shiny new apartment complexes are sitting there competing for the same renters, which means landlords suddenly have to act like they actually want your business. The Sun Belt was the poster child for pandemic-era rent insanity, and now it's leading the correction. Austin, Texas dropped 18.2% from its peak. Birmingham, Alabama fell 17.1%, and Memphis, Tennessee slid 16.1%. Phoenix, Atlanta, and Las Vegas all pulled back more than 14%, which is what happens when you build a city's worth of apartments and then dare the market to fill them. There's something deeply poetic about Austin, the city, that became the symbol of remote work, utopia, tech migration. And have you tried moving to Texas Energy, now leading the country in rent declines? It's like the popular kid in high school showing up to the reunion driving a sensible sedan. The universe has a sense of humor, and it's not subtle. But here's where the story gets interesting and slightly unfair depending on where you live. Virginia Beach, Kansas City, and Baltimore are actually resisting this national cooldown, with some even posting modest year-over-year increases. So if you're renting in those markets hoping for relief, the market looked you dead in the eyes and said, not today. The psychological whiplash here is real renters who are celebrating the downward trend are now realizing that lower than the peak still means higher than you can comfortably afford. Meanwhile, landlords in resilient markets are printing this data out and framing it next to their boat licenses. Historically, rental markets move in cycles tied to construction pipelines, migration patterns, and economic confidence. And what we're watching right now is a textbook supply-demand rebalancing that economists predicted even if nobody listened, because predicting things isn't nearly as fun as panicking. The lesson history keeps teaching us is that the cycle always turns, and the people who prepared quietly during the chaos are the ones who look like geniuses later. One of the biggest misconceptions floating around right now is that falling rents mean the housing market is crashing. It's not. It's correcting, which is a completely different thing, like the difference between a diet and a famine. Rents are still structurally elevated, demand for housing isn't disappearing, and population growth continues to underpin long-term housing fundamentals in most major metros. If you're an investor watching this, the playbook isn't to panic sell or freeze entirely. It's to study which markets are overcorrecting and which ones are holding firm, because that divergence is exactly where opportunity lives. Position size matters more than conviction right now. Don't bet the whole portfolio on a Sun Belt recovery next quarter just because you saw a YouTube video about Austin. The practical move, whether you're a renter, a buyer, or an investor, is to let the data lead and the emotion follow, not the other way around. Discipline in a shifting market means knowing when to act, when to wait, and when to simply do nothing, which is genuinely harder than it sounds when everyone around you is either panicking or over-celebrating. Here's the philosophical truth the rental market keeps proving over and over. The people who win aren't always the ones with the best timing. They're the ones with the clearest process and the most boring consistency. Markets reward patience the way compound interest does, slowly, invisibly, and then all at once. We're living through a rare moment where renters have slightly more leverage than they did 2 years ago. And that window won't stay open forever. New construction will slow, demand will reaccelerate, and the cycle will quietly reset while everyone's still debating whether it's a good time to move. Prepare rationally, act strategically, and don't let the noise make your decisions for you. Whether rents keep falling, flatten out, or reverse course in 18 months, the people who understood the fundamentals, sized their exposure correctly, and stayed emotionally detached from the outcome, we'll look back on this period as the setup, not the punchline. Be the setup person. And if any of this has you thinking about your next move in real estate investing, finding the right contractor, or connecting with a lender who actually gets it, check out our links in the description below and let's get you started.